I want to get into it, man, you know.
It might not be unusual to see a Republican and a Democrat face off in front of microphones.
You're listening to the Church Politics Podcast.
But in this case, Republican James Langford and Democrat Chris Coons sat down to discuss their Christian faith. And the man behind the conversation?
Being a biblical Christian can be a lonely place.
37-year-old Justin Giboney.
Giboney, along with former White House staffer Michael Ware, host a podcast called Church Politics, where they're tackling tough Christian issues and allowing politicians, no matter their party, a chance to share their faith.
The former Democratic delegate says he's seen the downside of sharing biblical convictions.
I've been in politics for almost a decade, and so when I say that, I mean running campaigns, doing campaign consulting.
In 2016, Giboney ran on a biblical platform promoting his pro-life and Christian beliefs.
The Democratic Party cannot afford to be a party that disregards, disrespects, or ignores its faith-based community.
That led to attacks from members of his own party, who even tried to have him removed from the Georgia delegation.
I came to a point, in urban politics when I was thinking, I enjoy doing this, but I'm getting pushed further and further to the left on every issue.
And he's not alone. In this divided society, members of both parties feel pushed to the edges and away from the middle. And it doesn't appear to be the wish of voters. According to this recent NBC Gen Forward poll, 71% of millennials feel both parties do a poor job of representing the American people and want a third party.
There are a lot of Christians who are saying, I want to be engaged in politics, but I don't want to go all the way to the left or all the way to the right.
While Giboney didn't get love from some Democrats, he also felt excluded from conservative circles thanks to two words: social justice. And you can see why with a quick look at YouTube. Social justice warrior owned. I'm glad I'm not a social justice warrior. The cult of social justice warriors, and so on.
That word has been defiled. Right? Social justice in some circles has been defiled to justify anything people want to do.
Movements from outright socialism to censorship wrap themselves in a social justice blanket. And Giboney believes it's time for that to end.
We're saying, let's reclaim this word because it doesn't belong to those people who are defiling it. There are a lot of things that have been defiled, but I don't think God tells us to concede that.
His view of social justice means calling for an end to things like abortion and police brutality, while supporting criminal justice reform.
If we're about family, then we have to make sure that people aren't being incarcerated unnecessarily because it breaks up families.
So how do you cut through the fog of confusion? By bringing leaders of both sides together, which Giboney did to launch the AND campaign.
I would agree with them biblically and theologically, but my humanity as an African American was not uplifted.
Giboney started the movement to help Christians realize the answer doesn't only lie within party lines.
While some millennials shy away from the idea of religion and politics, the team at the AND campaign say they're determined to take their message from the church pews to the streets of Washington.
I'm excited about what they're seeking to do because they're seeking to bridge the gap between righteousness and justice, between biblical values and social equity. And those two have divided the Christian community for far too long, as though God rides the backs of donkeys or elephants.
Evangelist Tony Evans believes millennials have the opportunity to bridge the gap.
We can have a generation that brings those together and gives a full understanding of God and not a partial understanding of God. Then we can get the holistic nature of God operating in our midst.
We want to make sure that Christians are kind of transcending the partisanship we see today.
Be courageous. Thank you.
So Giboney will remain focused by spurring the conversation and providing platforms where believers, left and right, get a seat at the table. Amber Strong, CBN News in Atlanta, Georgia.